Let's get after it and have some fun today. Larry, welcome in. It's great to spend Tuesdays with you, and we're going to get it started right away here with you. Those Miami Dolphins, the sign of a good football team is maybe the offense isn't firing in the first half, maybe the defense isn't playing well, maybe things aren't working out, but still piling up the W's in South Florida. You got to be excited about your Miami Dolphins here.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. Thank you so much for having me on. And, hey, my thanks to the Pittsburgh Steelers losing, giving my Dolphins undefeated Super Bowl season another year to go. I'm sure Don Shula looking down on that. Every year it's the same thing with us, man. Someone's got to lose so those Dolphins can stay undefeated. And, look, Tua looked really good. We need a running game. Dolphins do need a running game if they could do that play action, freeze those defenses. But I think their defense is going to pull them out. I mean, in the last 7 games, I think we have 14 turnovers, so we're averaging 2 turnovers a game. We're allowing average 16 points against us per game. And, man, we got a great defensive back with those interceptions. He's leading the NFL. And don't forget our place kicker, man. We might not even need a punter. This guy's 8 for 8 outside 50 yards. So, they got tough 2 games out of their next 4. They got to play the Chiefs and the Bills. But I think they have a great chance. I think if the running game picks up, they're going to do very well. And Tua's just going to have to step up, man. Kansas City's next.
Yeah, and speaking of Tua, we were kind of talking about this before the show. When you look at the quarterback situation of the Dolphins, as a Dolphins fan, they're making a run. This is the best season in a long time for the Dolphins. Do you prefer Tua, or would you rather they go back to Ryan Fitzpatrick? Who do you think gives them the best chance to win?
Look, looking at it from a fan's perspective, Fitzpatrick has been around a long time. Back in the pocket, I'd rather see Fitzpatrick throwing the ball downfield, but I think Tua needs his time out there if he's the future quarterback. But I think Fitzpatrick, to me, would be the guy to put back there, especially he can run the ball. He's not just a pocket passer, but his experience would make me take him over Tua right now. But Tua is the future.
I absolutely agree with all of that. And staying right here in the AFC East, probably the craziest ending, the craziest way to lose you're ever going to see in the NFL. And it couldn't happen to a worse person in Greg Williams. What do you think about the Jets doing their best 0-16 impersonation? Maybe bring Dan Orlovsky out of our retirement, put him in the lineup, go for that 0-16 Lions. What do you think about the Jets? And where do you think they're going to actually go 0-16 this year?
Look, we all know what the NFL means. The National Football League. Man, for the Jets and Greg Williams, it means not for long, boss. Listen, man, when you blitz on those last plays, you don't blitz, do all-out blitzes. It's almost like they want that number 1 pick, and it's crazy. It's just crazy. I thought both of them were going to get fired. I was surprised to see that they just fired the defensive coordinator, but they have a good chance of going 0-16. They really do. But it was I thought for once that they had that win under their belt, and it just fell apart. They really want that number 1 pick, I think.
Yeah.
No, and when you take a look at the New York Jets, it's just amazing it happens. And it's funny because they fired Greg Williams. Instead, they actually should have gave him a promotion, Larry. Said, thank you so much for securing the number 1 overall draft pick. This is exactly why we kept you on. I mean, it's amazing. As a Dolphins fan, you're probably going, yes, the Jets won. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is going to end up in Jacksonville. You don't have to see him for the I'm the same way as a fan. It's exactly right, and that's the way you look at it. So it's kind of funny the way he's treated, where he should have an actual ticker tape parade going down, Manhattan as we go throughout the season. We're finally, zeroing in here, Larry, on the playoff picture, which is fun to look at because we do have the expanded playoffs this year with adding an extra team and how much more. Kyle and I talk about it all the time, how much importance it is to secure that number 1 seed because you're the only team that's going to get a bye, even with the loss yesterday with the Pittsburgh Steelers. By rules of, AFC losses to NFC losses, they still sit, being the Pittsburgh Steelers, in that number 1 spot. My question to you is, there's some interesting races down the bottom end, even in like the AFC, because I know you being a Dolphins fan, sitting at 8-4 firmly in that position, but there's teams like the Raiders and the Ravens and the Patriots. It's funny, the Patriots looking on the outside of actually getting to the playoffs here. It's kind of
way on the outside.
Yeah, who are you looking for, Larry, that says, you know what, I have my eye on this team, maybe to get in the playoffs and make a run here? Because it's easy to pick, the Steelers or the Chiefs or the Bills. But who's those teams that you're interested in saying, you know what, this team might be interesting if they sneak in here?
Out of all those teams there, and not talking about who's going to win the division. I like the Raiders' chances. They got a great head coach, and I think they're one of the teams that do have to win the remaining games if they want one of those wild card spots. But one of the races that I like, believe it or not, I love the Colts' chances of overtaking the Titans and take that division. Colts have got a great defense, and it's almost like everything that we're seeing now, it's almost set. There's not that much more to go, and unless someone collapses, like you said, I mean, my Dolphins have a secure spot, but hey, if they lose 3 out of these next 4, maybe New England can step it up. But so there's so much to look at right now. But out of all the teams, I think the Raiders have a good chance of maybe getting one of those wild card spots. They're a little bit on the outside now, but I think they got a good shot.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Even though they haven't looked good the last couple of weeks, then we shifted over to the NFC, right? We're looking there, and obviously the quality of teams there battling for that spot, not as good as teams look in the AFC, but we've got the Cardinals, the Vikings, the Rams overtaking Seattle. What are you looking at in the NFC, maybe getting into that last wild card spot? It should be an interesting run there. My Niners are obviously out of it now.
The Cardinals were one team that I think they've lost 3 out of the last 4 right now. I'm not really sure on that, but they seem to have collapsed a little bit. And I was looking at them to get that one of those guaranteed spots, because if you look at that other division, I mean, what you have there is ridiculous. I mean, I think one of those teams with 6 wins is going to win the division over there. So I like the Cardinals' chances to pull it out.
Well, yeah, it's staying right there in the NFC East. Right now, the Giants are in first place, and they've looked really good. And so they really have.
4-1 in their last 5 games.
Yeah, and Washington beating the Steelers. Are the Giants going to sit there? You kind of look at their schedule. They do have a tough schedule. The Cardinals, the Browns, the Ravens. So do you think the Giants stay there? Does Washington overtake the Giants maybe in the NFC East?
The Giants have a hard last couple of games. And I think it's up for grabs, but I think one of those teams, 6 wins, might just take that division. But I like the Giants' chances of staying on there. I really do.
Yeah.
It's interesting, too, because when you look at the New York Giants and now the Washington football team, 2 competent teams, you were expecting, and I even see, because I know, Larry, from your end of the spectrum here, a couple books were even posting odds of which, odds that the NFC East would not win a single football game this weekend. And here we are. Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles were going up against Green Bay. We thought they would get beat. They did. The New York Giants, we all thought they would maybe play close and hang around, but still get beat by Seattle. And then Washington yesterday goes in and knocks off the last undefeated team in the NFL. So it's interesting the way it plays out. And it pains my heart, Larry, because just a few weeks ago, I was still able to hold my head high and go, my first place Philadelphia Eagles are going to play this weekend. And that's no longer the case, because now it's like it was nice to ride high, because the NFC East was embarrassing, but you could still hold your head high by being in first place. And that sort of crashed and burned. We're now this week sitting there as a touchdown underdog against New Orleans with a rookie quarterback starting and basically no hope to make the playoffs, which is actually a good thing come draft time, as always interesting. But now we get to the point where we take a look at a few things here. Big spots this weekend, because we're all fans, even though you're on that other end of the aisle, as we like to say, on the opposite side of the counter, but we're all fans at heart. Larry, what are you looking forward to this week in NFL Week 14 that piques your interest here?
Dude, a lot of interest in the Steelers and the Bills. It's there's a lot of teams out there right now that are looking at are the Steelers going to lose? Are the Bills going to lose? It's going to help a lot of teams, and we saw a lot of interest from the very beginning. I think we have them at 2 right now. It's about an hour and a half ago. And the other game that's showing a lot of interest, because the line's at 7 right now, is the Chiefs and the Dolphins. I mean, if the Dolphins can run the ball and they can stop some of these Chiefs drives, they have a chance of taking care of that spread and covering. But those 2 games are what fans are looking at right now, and we're seeing a lot of money hit those 2 games right away.
I like that. I'm really looking forward to Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Pittsburgh certainly needs to bounce back, and you definitely want that bye if you're the older team, and the Steelers, I think, especially with James Conner's problems. Talking to AFC playoffs, another big game this week, Colts and the Raiders. What do you see happening in that game? Where's maybe the money coming in? Right now, it looks like a lot of the tickets on the Colts right now. Are you guys seeing the same thing over there?
Same thing, Colts, and I think there's a lot of people wanting Phillips Rivers to finally get something out of this. And he's having a great, not so much a great year, but he's doing good things. And I like Indy's chances. And I'd like to see Phillip Rivers take them a little bit farther. I don't think he's got much time left in his career. And, I mean, he's doing very well right now. And they got a great defense.
Yes, they
And he's got
what's interesting about the Colts this weekend too, Larry, is I love Frank Reich. I think he's a wonderful coach. Rejuvenating Andrew Luck. We saw the impact he had on the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl run in 2017. On Sunday, I was sitting on a team total of over 26.5. We, as I like to say in the Colts, had 24 points at the half, and in the first half had a big touchdown pass on a fourth down play by about midfield. I'm like, man, Frank Reich's my man. I love when he goes for it on fourth down. Then I started to see the writing on the wall with 3rd and 13 inside the red zone and a slip screen out to a wide receiver, getting them down to 4th and 1 at about the 4-yard line. And I said, you know what? Frank's going to go for this when I really was dying for just a field goal here and ended up, hey, we're still on good terms with the Colts. Still love what Phillip Rivers is doing. You can pencil them in for mid-20s this weekend. But I do want to get your take real quick, Larry, before we get you out of here. Kyle doesn't like the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns are going to be playing next Monday Night Football when we do a live show. Do you have a prognosis that you can tell him that you think Baker Mayfield's playing well, or do you want to join Team Kyle in hating on those Cleveland Browns?
You know what? I have a small love for the Cleveland Browns because of the UM factor, always with the Cleveland Browns. Not so much this year, but I've followed them. And I'll tell you something. Last year, I was telling myself, if Baker Mayfield doesn't do anything quick, he's got to go. I mean, it was so much hype, and I think he's having a pretty decent year. And, man, who would have thought? I forget what the totals was for their wins at the beginning of the season, but I'm sure whoever took the over already is going to pocket some money because who expected to be for them to be where they are right now? I didn't. I didn't at all. And they're missing one of their top receivers. He's out, but they got a running game. I like their chances.
He's telling you, Kyle. Look at it. Listen to
frauds.
this man. He's telling you.
Cleveland Browns are frauds.
Don't hate me.
Just dirty frauds. Dirty frauds. Good running game.
Larry,
I will agree with
Larry, I'm on this. Anybody that's on the side against Kyle, I am going to be Team Larry. So you can say whatever you want as long as you go against Kyle.
I think they got a solid chance. They'd be number 1 in their division if they were somewhere else. I mean, they're number 2 because they got a tough team on top of them.
That's a great division, too. I mean, because you're talking about a team, if they were over in the NFC East, might be obviously running away with everything, but you still got to go toe-to-toe with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is tough. The Baltimore Ravens is equally tough, and it's a shame Joe Burrow went down because that would have still been a tough out as the young kid got better as the season moved along. But always fun here on Tuesdays, Larry. Thank you so much for coming on. Before we get out of here, let us hear about WagerWeb.eu, the good things that are going on because we got college basketball. NBA is starting to turn the tide. We know NFL is rumbling right towards the playoffs. A great time to be in there. What do you have going on there?
Guys, like always, man, we have some great cash bonuses going on right now, up to 100% cash. You just need to call in and see what you qualify for. Got our weekly NFL contest. And like you said, man, college basketball, thank God, it's up and running. NBA, there's a lot of future bets up and available for you guys. So, and don't forget our great live betting platform, man. Anything you guys need, please don't hesitate to call. Someone will make sure that they help you right away.
Fantastic stuff, Larry. We always look forward to Tuesdays, both myself and Kyle here, having you on the show and supporting sportsbooker.com. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, as he said, check out WagerWeb.eu for all those great deals and also slick, quick interface. Get in, get out, and make your money. Larry, once again, thank you for joining us today. We really
Guys, thank you for having me. Y'all have a good week.